This call is being recorded.
Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam.
Welcome, brothers and sisters, to the Nation of Islam, Allah's Temple number 1, and the War of Christ. I am opening this meeting in the name of Allah, who appeared and is in the person of Master Farad Muhammad. Assalamu alaikum. And with the Farad prayer. Surely I have turned myself, being upright to him who originated the heavens and the earth, and I am not of the polytheists. Surely my prayers, my sacrifices, my life, and my death are all for Allah, the Lord of the worlds. No associate has he, and this am I commanded, and I am of those who submit. O Allah, thou art the King, there is no God but thee. Thou art my Lord, and I am thy servant. I have been unjust to myself, and I confess my faults. Grant me protection against all my faults, and none grant protection against faults but thee. And guide me to the best of morals, for none guides to the best of them but thee, and turns away from me the evil morals but thee. Amen. Tonight we are continuing with our reading of the Genesis years, unpublished and rare writings of Elijah Muhammad, the messenger of Allah, and the order will go as follows. Zaim will start us off by reading Unity on page 205. I will read A United Black Nation. Kamal will read We Must Be Ourselves. Amari will read We Must Have Some Earth. Sister Rebecca will read What the So-Called Negro Must Do. Brother James will read What is an American? And then we will start volume 2 with Amaria reading Accept Allah and the true religion of Islam, or suffer the chastisement of Almighty God Allah on page 225. Zain will read Allah reveals the truth. I will read Americans persecute the Muslims, what will be the end of her, part 1. Kamal will read Americans persecute the Muslims, what will be her end, part 2. Sister Rebecca will read America persecutes the Muslims, what will be her end, part 3. And Brother James will finish us off by reading America persecutes the Muslims, what will be her end? These spoils enslaved us, we should wake up and revenge with Allah. And we will begin with Naeem reading Unity on page 205.
This is Minister Naeem of the Nation of Islam, Allah's Temple number 1. Unity. Sincere unity comes from the love of one another, and agreement is assured. The lack of unity is the real cause of the existing dissension among the so-called Negroes. There's no love for one another, and this lack of love makes it impossible to unite and agree with each other. Allah, in the person of Master in the pastor of Master W.F. Muhammad, God in person, brought the key to our unity by giving us the knowledge of self and others. This knowledge of self has made us to love self and our kind, not the evil. It is against the law of nature for us to love strange flesh as we love self and kind. Unlike is repelled by alike. Through unlike may well attract, but the law of nature will rebel though unlike may well attract against it because of the lack of a likeness. Perfect unity is obtained then from a likeness and not from unlike. Every kind of life we see in this world is different. Everyone unlike, yet unity is at work among the alike. We see the world of mankind is intelligent enough to recognize their own likeness and repel unlikeness. Therefore, they like on a part of this earth alone to themselves. Black, brown, yellow, red, and white. But my poor people who like unlike and hate alike because they have no knowledge of self and kind, not to mention other than self. They are therefore called blind, deaf, and dumb, and this is true even if it is offensive and disgraceful to be called such names. Love and unity cannot be enjoyed without the knowledge of self and kind. The so-called Negroes should attend the meetings of the Muslims to learn about self and kind as revealed to us by Allah, to whom be praised forever, who came in the person of Master W.F. Muhammad. He hoped for and long awaited for the last 2,000 years. The great Mahdi, the finder of us, the lost and the last members of the divine nation of righteousness, the great restorer of the kingdom of Islam. Every one of us who accepts entire submission to the will of Allah. Allah as our guide and his religion, Islam, enjoys peace of mind, contentment, and have no fear, nor shall they grieve. This religion, Islam, is actually powered by Allah God, and this power and the great wisdom, the secret of God, and the universe that we live in, automatically invites us. One of the main purposes of his coming is to unite the lost and found members of the great Asiatic nation of Islam. His supreme wisdom given to the lost found nation of Islam, as he called us, will put us on top of the civilization as Yaqub's supreme wisdom and knowledge. Yaqub's supreme wisdom and knowledge on how to trick the righteous into doing evil, just the opposite of right. Put his people, the white race. The great Mahdi will make a nation from the product of righteousness and teach them a supreme knowledge of the God of righteousness that has never been taught since the creation of the universe. He will make his people rule forever, as that wisdom is the utmost of divine knowledge. And as I have said, it is so powerful that it automatically unites us. Amen.
This is Minister Rafiq of the Nation of Islam, Allah's Temple number 1. A united black nation. Why not a united 20 million black people of America? There is a United Nations headed by America and England, which includes nearly all races and colors. There is also a United Arab Republic. 20 million black people of America are called after the names of their slave masters. This means that they are still the property of white America, thus making it impossible for them to become a free and independent people of white America. If they, the so-called Negroes, would unite and throw off the white man's names, which have no divine meanings, for they, the devils, are not the people of the God of righteousness, Book of Isaiah, chapter 63, verse 19, chapter 64, verses 3 and 5, and the slavery teachings of the white man's religion, Christianity, they, in the name of Allah and the religion of Islam, could become one of the greatest and mightiest nations on the earth. Let the disbelievers ask me to prove it. We must unite and qualify for self-independence, for Allah's earth is vast. America killed off the original owners, the Indians, and took this country for their home. We must have some of this earth that we can call our own. Allah is with us. We must learn trades and professions of all kinds and build our nation, which consists of 20 million so-called Negroes. There is no hope of a future for us in the white race because they have no future for themselves. This you must know. Unity is the result of love and respect of one's own and others. We cannot expect love, unity, and respect from others until we have these for ourselves. We should be ashamed of ourselves to ever want to integrate or mix bloods with the very enemies and murderers of our people. They are born haters and despisers of the black nation. They are also the robbers and spoilers of our nation. Why not a united American black people, the so-called Negroes? We have a world of people of our kind who would not hesitate to show us that they are our sincere brothers and sisters if we would only throw off the chains and yoke of the white man's slavery. You must drop their names and get out of their religion. Stop worshiping them, the white man, and worship Allah God and his true religion, Islam. Islam means entire submission to the will of Allah and the entrance into his peace. There you will not fear, nor shall you grieve. Seek for yourself and your kind that which the white race seeks for themselves, which is independence, freedom, justice, equality, and a free country for their own kind. A dependent and begging people cannot hope for anything but the worst. This world is on her way out, and another one is coming in, the new world of Islam, peace and righteousness, under the rulership of Allah and the Muslims. Let us buy farmland where we can grow our own food and sell that at a price that our poor people are able to pay. We should produce our own needs and unite as one man and sacrifice everything to accomplish this unity. Amen.
This is Master Kamal Muhammad of the Nation of Islam, Allah's Temple number 1. We must be ourselves. We are faced with the choice of accepting self or other than self. The absence of love for self makes us to love other than self. Hatred of self keeps us fighting and opposing self. We must do something for self and stop working against each other for the joy of our enemies. We must prepare for tomorrow. We cannot depend on the white race to continue to farm and grow food, cotton, and wool to clothe us. We have to get rid of thinking like a child. We have to learn to think and do like men of all other nations and look after our own needs. We must unite and work together in order to make it easy for all. We must go to school and try to get a college and university education. We must learn engineering of all kinds, teachership, chemistry, medicine, astronomy, and other sciences such as professional trades, navigation, etc. Learn to do for self and nation what other civilized nations are doing for themselves. Too long we have been lazy, thinking the way of being self-independent. Unite and build a better black nation worthy of its name, the first. Be good for self and kind. Never join in making fun of your people with non-members of your people. Never seek to take advantage of your own black brother or sister. Be true to yourself and other than your own kind. Defend each other against danger to lives and property of your own. Be clean internally as well as externally. Stop using tobacco in any form. Stop eating this filthy swine, pig. Stop being loud in the public and in secret. Stop using filthy language in public and in secret. Stop using drugs and whiskey. Stop trying to mix with other than your own kind. Stop going to church and go to the mosque of Islam where you will be loved and respected and protected by the God of Islam and your nation. Be yourself and fear Allah alone. Do not think the white man's being blessed is not asking you to take part in the third world war or final war of the Western world civilization. Join unto your own kind and be yourself. Amen.
This is Minister Amari Muhammad of the Nation of Islam, Allah, Symbol number 1. We must have some earth. What good is it to serve a master or God if that master or God will not give you a home on his earth that you can call your own? There are 57,255,000 square miles of land out of water, of a total of 196,940,000 square miles that make up our planet, and 29 million square miles of producing land. How many square miles of this good earth do we, the so-called American Negroes, own here in America? Yet we seek to be recognized as the equal of our slave masters' children with nothing but a job that is the masters allow us to do for them when we are wanted. Is this not a shame for us whom the slave masters claim that they freed nearly 100 years ago to go for ourselves? We have never tried going for self. The white man drives us and forces us to do something for himself in his time. And yet we have made ourselves appear to the world of mankind to be the laziest cowards, self-divided, shameful, disgraceful beggars of the white people on the earth. Do not we ever get tired of being looked upon as full without a home? Everyone has some of this earth that they can call their own. If not, they are doing everything within their powers to own some of it. For the past 100 years of freedom, so-called, we have given the same slave masters our labor and our lives to help them build a home and keep it secure for them, though the white slave masters are responsible for our blindness, but not after the light comes to us. We need re-education. The white man's education is helpful, but there is not enough light shown in it for the so-called Negroes to find the way to self. They beat and kill you, starve you, drive and kick you out of their presence and homes. Yet you love them and admire them, and hate and dislike yourselves, and will not unite to find a people for home and self and children. You are satisfied people with nothing. We must have some of this earth that we can call our own. We have lost 400 years making our slave masters' children rich and powerful and independent, and are charmed by their riches, as the symbolic parable of the Lazarus and the rich man, in that you will not go after something for self. No. We are aware we do not belong, and by the divine prophecy concerning us, there is not a permanent home for us in this part of our planet, but promised us a permanent home among our own people. Would you not like to live in peace and be recognized and treated as brother citizens by your own people and on your own country that then to be recognized? unrecognized, and treated like a dog by others than your own kind and country? Allah God wants to give you, the so-called Negroes, the best and most permanent home the earth has to offer. The white man came into possession of this part of our planet by blood and built up blood and established himself by evil. And now must pay the price set by Allah, God, through the mouth of his prophets. We must have some of this earth that we can call our own for a permanent home. Come follow me and you will get it. For this cause is the day of Allah that's coming. Do not let the will of our enemies deceive you. Amen.
This is Minister Rebecca Rockman of Allah's Temple Number 1, Nation of Islam. What the so-called Negroes must do. All over the earth today, we see men coming into unity, oneness, or solidarity. The European nations are in a bond of pact referred to as WATO, or the Warsaw Pact market. They are attempting to establish a European common market in Africa. There is the Organization of Arab States, and much work is going on toward uniting all the people of Africa. In the United Nations, those nations which have sometimes something in common are identical people, traits, culture, or borders, are in groups or blocks. Men everywhere are seeking unity among themselves. Every race of people want unity, their own kind first, except my people, the so-called Negroes in America. Our condition and lack of love for ourselves must be attributed to the slave master. He has been our teacher until the coming of the Almighty God, Allah. The slave master has robbed my people of their God, religion, name, language, and culture. They are now deaf, dumb, and blind to the knowledge of self. The worst kind of crime has been committed against us, for we are robbed of our desire to even want to think and do for self. We are often pictured by the slave masters as lazy and trifling people who are without thought of advancement. I say this is the condition that which the slave master very cleverly wanted and created among the so-called Negro. Robert H. Kinzer and Howard Sargareen, in their book, The Negro in America Business, page 81, states that the history of America would be different today if the slaves freed from bondage had been given, in addition to their 3 amendments to the Constitution, the famous 40 acres and a mule. The slaves instead started not only without land and the money to purchase it, but with a few avenues open to earn and save such money. Ownership of producing land is a prime and necessary part of freedom. A people cannot exist freely without land, and the so-called Negro in land ownership are limiting the acres in which such purchases or even rentals could be made, are not left restricted to the poor sections of the slave masters, is abandoning throughout America. Again, Mr. Kinzer and Mr. Sargareen give a hint in their book of the great psychological strategy of the slave master on his slaves. That is the original brainwash. On page 84, the author states that the land sold to the slaves was a poor quality and in an inferior location. They state the so-called Negroes face pressure against his becoming a farm owner and pressure from the white community that he remain a tenant. We encounter credit difficulties, hardships of repayment of loans, and hardships with white executives from which the loans must be axed. All of this is part of the clever plan to discourage my people from wanting to own producing lands for themselves and to cause a great dislike within them for having anything to do with tilling, cultivating, extracting, and producing for themselves as other free and independent people. It is a shame this shows you and me that the white America is to us and just why we have not been able to do anything worthwhile for ourselves. They want us to be helpless so they can mistreat us as always. We must come together and unite. It is time. I think it is a disgrace for us to be satisfied with only a servant part. We should and must, as other people want for ourselves what other civilized nations have. Let us do for ourselves that which we are begging the slave master to do for us. Do not be fooled by the false promise of civil rights and the softening of their language. It is offered to you now to keep you from becoming free of their evil plans to deprive you of the offer made to us by Allah. If we will submit to him, he will set us in heaven at once. It is only justice that we be given land and provision for a start, so we may do for ourselves. This is what other new emerging nations are giving. We want a good productive land, not earth that is scorched, but land that will produce crop and hold foundation for structure. Let us make it clear, I'm not begging for if it pleases Allah. He will give us a home, and I am with him today. According to Allah, God's word, we are living in a time of the great separation of the black and the white. The prophesied 400 years of slavery, which the so-called Negroes would serve white people, ended in 1955. The so-called Negroes must return to their own. Nothing else will solve their problems. The divine power is working and will continue to work, and in favor of the so-called Negroes return to their own. The separation would be a blessing for both sides. It was the only solution, according to the Bible, for Israel and the Egyptians. It will prove to be the only solution for America and her slaves. Amen.
This is Brother James with the Nation of Islam, Allah's Temple number 1. What is un-American? According to the dictionary's definition of un-American, it means, quote, one that is not American, not characteristic of or proper to America, foreign or opposed to the American character, usages, standards, etc., unquote. As you know, any or all Negroes that seek freedom, justice, and equality is or are charged or accused of being un-American. They are accused with seeking to overthrow the government of America by force. We Muslims prohibit the carrying of arms, but yet we are accused of planning to overthrow the government by force. No Negro leader has been successful in helping his people to freedom, justice, and equality that was not opposed by both his own people and the merciless, wicked white Americans. Also, by those poison intellectual so-called Negroes who love and worship the devil and hate self and kind. Today, the Americans hope to unite all educated so-called Negroes along with their already poisoned Negro Christian preachers against we the Muslims that preach freedom, justice, and equality for the black nation. They are united against my followers and I. Thanks be to Allah, you are a little late to win. Allah God knew the tricks that you would use to try deceiving the black man before you were created. Un-American. I wish to prove, according to the English language in this article, that every so-called Negro, Indian, and all non-white Europeans are un-American according to the dictionary's definition of un-American. Un-American, according to the dictionary, is a citizen of the United States or of the earlier British colonies, one not belonging to one of the aboriginal races. We belong to the aboriginal nation of the earth. The white or European race is not aboriginal. 2, native or inhabitant of the Western Hemisphere. The above explanation makes it clear that we are not members of the white Europeans nor descendants of that race. We are the aboriginal un-American. The above explanation also makes it clear that we, so-called Negroes, are not and cannot be American citizens, since we are not American by nature nor by race. A true American is one other than the aboriginal race or races that inhabited the Western Hemisphere, or the whole planet Earth, before the coming of the white man from Europe. We, the so-called Negroes, members of the aboriginal earth and of the tribe of Shabazz, were kidnapped from our native land and people by the white Englishmen and Americans. We were brought here not to be made Americans nor American citizens, but rather to be slaves or servants for the true American citizens, whites, who originally came from Europe. We, descendants of the Asiatic nation from the continent of Africa, after 100 years of so-called freedom, cannot claim by the law of justice to be Americans or American citizens. We are un-American, and by nature, we are different. Know from this day on that if you are a so-called Negro, Red, Black, or an Indian, or any member of the Aboriginal Black Nation, you are an un-American. Even though you may have been born in the United States of America, you cannot be an American. Used for criminal purposes. What or why are we called un-American? It is to classify us as criminals or with crimes that we are not guilty of. They make the truth God has given to us untrue. They use it to conceal our true intentions. But at the same time, they claim freedom of speech, freedom of the press, and religious freedom lawful under the Constitution. Again, it is abundantly clear to you that have eyes that the Americans never intended freedom for their so-called Negroes. She stands in the way and opposes true freedom, justice, and equality from coming to the poor black man and woman in the Western Hemisphere. She is pleased with the foolish and ignorant worship of the so-called Negroes. She doesn't ever want the Negroes to accept the true religion, which is Islam. Why? Here in Islam, the Negroes have a true God and true friends on his side, and that means help to the poor Negroes against his open enemies, the white race. So you can see, or you will see, why they do not want the so-called Negro Muslim people in America. It means independence, friendship, divine guidance, and help against the devils. As it is written in the Holy Quran, quote, know that Allah is with the Muslims, unquote. Trick the Negroes to stay in devil's names. For the first time, the so-called Negroes are awakening to just why white Americans still like to call their much-hated and despised once Negro slaves after their names, or make the Negroes think names do not mean anything, that they should remain in them. The devils have knowledge of the time. They know you will not be accepted by God, nor your own nation if represented under their names. Names which are not names of God and will not see the hereafter. The intellectual so-called Negroes think it is a disgrace to them to not be called by the slave master's name. And if I wanted to be called Muhammad, I should go to court and have my name changed legally. I laughed and said, I'm sorry, I have my legal name. There is no law to make me pay to be called by my legal name. I have been called by an illegal name. Now I have gotten rid of that illegal slave name for a legal and holy name of God. Again, we must remember, the white race never intended anything like good for you. They are not seeking good for you today. Death is really their aim for you. Why do they oppose our struggle for justice and freedom if they want to see all people free and enjoying justice and equality? They are not referring to you. You are not people in their eyes. It is their people they are referring to. Why do they oppose separation of us into a state or territory of our own? Since we cannot live in peace with them, when we read of the evils done to us and to our fathers by this race of devils, we cannot foresee anything in them but evil, hatred, and murder for us and to our unborn children. Read some of their books on what went on against our slave parents by the fathers of these modern murderers of ours. For instance, the book entitled Brown Americans by Edwin R. Embry, printed 1946. Page 54 tells the story of laws against education for the so-called Negroes. He quotes a devil, Henry Berry, as saying while speaking in the Virginia House of Delegates in 1832, describing the situation as existed at that time in many parts of the South, quote, we have, as far as possible, closed every avenue by which light may enter the slave's mind. The avenue of the light of Allah you are unable to shut out from coming to us. If we could extinguish the capacity to see the light, our work would be complete. They would then be on a level with the beasts of the field, and we should be safe. I am certain that we would not do it if we could find out the process, and that on the plea of necessity. The above words, desires, and works against you are still in the hearts of their evil, bloodthirsty children against you. Today, they go around in large cities like Chicago at night in cars loaded with baseball bats, guns, iron pipes, and knives to pounce upon and kill poor, harmless, so-called Negroes. We are living under the very shadow of death in such a place as America. Unity under the guidance and protection of Allah will bring an end to this horrible situation. What do you see as a future in them for you and your children? Nothing but hell. Remember, if you are black or a member of the black nation, you are un-American. If you want equal justice and a decent way of life to live, or have love for the black people, you are un-American. The American is the only one that can sing the land of the free. It is for the white American. Amen.
Rafiq.
Oh, is it muted? Oh, sir.
I'm gonna go ahead. You can y'all can read those lessons at the next meeting. I'm gonna go ahead and teach. Go ahead and make your introduction.
Yes, sir. We will now hear from the Son of Man.
In the name of Allah, who appeared and is in the person of Master Farad Muhammad. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
Salam.
Speak a few words to you, if I may, on this Friday night. Just a couple observations. You know, whenever I think about that date that Allah gave us, when the first slaves. First of all, can everyone hear my voice? Can hear me clearly?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. When I think about that date, when Master Farad Muhammad said we were first enslaved, which was 1555, and we say that the 400-year period expired in the year of 1955. When we look at that date, that information that Master Farad Muhammad gave us, well, not particularly that information, basically all the information that Master Farad Muhammad gave us was hidden information. The wisdom was secret, and the knowledge that he gave us was also secret, or the information that he gave us was secret. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Get your Bible and turn to the 12th chapter of Matthew.
Yes.
Got it.
In the 12th chapter of Matthew, we're going to start at the 35th verse. A good man out of the treasure of his heart bringeth forth good things, and an evil man out of the evil treasure bringeth forth evil things. But I say unto you, that every idle word that men shall speak, they shall give account thereof in the day of judgment. For by thy words thou shalt be justified, and by thy words thou shalt be condemned. You understand?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Now, when I was in school, and I was being taught American history, matter of fact, as generally is supposed, I was taught that the slaves came to Jamestown, Virginia in the year 1619. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
America does not teach her history to its citizens that she enslaved the Africans in 1555. You know, that's 64 years of missing history, you know, that Master Muhammad gave us. You know, they don't recognize that. That's secret. You know, they don't tell us everything. You know, so they recognize or they acknowledge, you know, or lie, and they say, you know, we didn't enslave Africans until the year 1619. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
All right. Now, this is really not what you would call a formal lecture, but I do recall somewhere in the books that Allah would judge, you know, that He's going to judge the wicked out of their own books. Is that, I don't know if anybody can. I can't recall exactly where that scripture is about being judged out of your own book, but I'm pretty sure it's in the scripture that God's going to judge you out of your own book. You understand?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Is there anybody that have not heard that? Okay. Now, when we read the 37th verse, it says, "For by thy words thou shalt be justified, and by thy words thou shalt be condemned." Now, in terms of a nation, America is telling the whole world, God and everybody, yeah, we enslaved Africans, but we did it in 1619. Well, if we go by that date, that would mean, according to what America will recognize officially, they will not recognize the 400th year until 2019. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
The reason why I bring this up is because I feel it's relevant. Because I don't believe it's a coincidence. I believe that 2019 is going to be a pivotal year, you know, especially when we look at it in terms of the weather, the climate, the geography, the polar caps, even the transition of the sun through the galactic plane completes in 2019. If you looked at Black Messiah, which Brother James has been presenting, if memory serves me correctly, the sun will complete its transit through the galactic plane in 2019. Is that right, Brother James?
Yes, sir. And 19 is a code in the Quran. Yes, sir.
Yeah. So 2019, we can say there's no argument, you know, by the naysayers concerning 1555 that 2019 would be the 400th year recognized by America. And as we read in the 37th verse of Matthew 12, it says, "For by thy words thou shalt be justified, and by thy words thou shalt be condemned." Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Now, understand something. This is political. This is political. What do I mean? You know, if the judgment, we kind of looking in hindsight. Even though we know God's word is true, politically speaking, if the brunt of the God's judgment came upon America before 2019, the brunt of it, then whether true or not, America could say that God lied, even though it could be argued and debated. Well, the book said that the judgment of God wasn't supposed to come to after 400 years, and here you are judging us in 1956, 57, 77, 97, 2007, 2017. At any point before 1619, America could cry, even though her cry is what you would call not true. She could make the cry that we haven't enslaved them. They haven't even been over here as slaves or otherwise for 400 years. They got here in 1619. They could say that. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
When it comes to politics, you know, the best way I can put it, not the politics of God per se, or not at all in this light. When it comes to politics, the truth is a negotiable instrument. The truth is a commodity, a circumstance that must be dealt with very carefully when you're dealing with politics. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Because politics has everything to do with power and appearances, and you know, the opinion of the people. And why do I say this is politics? Because remember, I taught you a couple weeks ago that that no nation on the planet is going to be able to defeat America. Nobody, not Russia, not China, nobody's going to defeat America. The only one in this universe that's going to defeat America is Allah Himself. Because, as I told you, He made the devil, He made white people to show forth His power, not our power, not black power, in the broad sense. He made the devil, He made white people to show that He is God, to show His power. It's political. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
You know, it's like, you know, how is it that you know how to cook, or you know how to ride a bike, or you know how to do anything, but for some reason you can't do it? That don't even make sense. If that is the case, that means you're dealing with politics. The Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad told you that he said that you could have the key of knowledge to free black people. You could know the way. You could know how to do it. But he said, even if you know how to free black people, you will not be successful if Allah is not with you. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Politics. That's all that could be. The white man being in control of the world, the nation of the earth kneeling before America, it's all politics. It's the politics of Allah. It's political. I don't care if Russia and China is really stronger than the U.S. military. They will not win because Allah said they won't. Even though they may have more men, better arms, faster jets, they may be constructing a stronger navy, they will not succeed because it's political. I don't care what the nations of the earth do. I don't care how strong they get. I don't care how many terrorists, so-called, may come out of the Middle East against America. America simply will not lose because it is the will of God. It is political. You will not win. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Example. Now, you know, if you know me or know me for any amount of time, if you ever talk to me anytime on the phone, you know, my conversation, you know, if I'm not talking to Islam, I might be talking about great people. And one of the people, that I talk about is Michael Jordan. You understand?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
How many hours and how many tapes of Michael Jordan highlights have I watched when I've, you know, taken a break from my studies? And, you know, may not be scientifically provable, but I got to tell you, when I look at that man and the way he played that game, and I'm looking at the dynamics of what he did, I have said to those that talk to me and others, it is as though it was the will of God or something that you couldn't stop him. You know, even if you jumped high enough to block his shot, it appeared that something happened and he just went higher than you. It's like he defied the laws of physics. It's like written in the law of the universe that you can't stop me from dunking on you. I don't care how tall you are, Dikembe Mutombo. I don't care how far you can jump in the air, how big you are, Alonzo Mourning, or, you know, how tough you are, Patrick Ewing. It don't matter who it is and who it don't matter. I cannot be stopped. You can almost say it was political, and it was political when you watch Michael Jordan, because that's the only man in that game that I know that can punch somebody, start a fight, and the other guy gets kicked out, Reggie Miller. Michael Jordan's playing basketball. He grabs and chokes Reggie Miller. Reggie Miller defends himself, but Reggie Miller gets ejected from the game. Jordan keeps playing. Politics. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. You got to tread lightly when you're dealing with political matters. Case in point, just for a, before I get back to my point, just for a hypothetical example. Are you listening?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Let's hypothetically say you go to New Orleans. Okay, you're going to go down to New Orleans with your wife or your girlfriend. You're going to meet some of your wife or girlfriend's people that you never met before, right? And, it's political. You're a righteous person. You got your views and opinions about people and their lifestyle, particularly homosexuals. As a Muslim, you don't particularly care for them. But, you try to be cordial to everybody. Okay. So you're down, let's say, it could be Atlanta, but I'm in Louisiana, so we're going to say New Orleans. So you're in New Orleans, city of sin, So you're there with your girlfriend, your wife, whatever, and you meet, we're talking politics here. Now, your girlfriend or your wife just crazy about her cousin named Alan, right? And so you meet Alan. He's a flaming faggot, flaming homosexual. Particularly don't want to shake his hand because you don't know where his hand's been or whatever. You really want to be around them people. But because you're being cordial and you're in a political situation, you abate your natural tendencies. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
I'm telling this to my sons. This is information for my sons how to deal with situations, hypothetically speaking. Now, what you must understand, if God places you in a situation, it's done for a reason. It's done for you to get a lesson. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Because homosexuals pervade society. Homosexuals are now a protected class of American society. They have rights and they have power. And they got it through political means. Despite the fact that the majority of Americans disapprove of the lifestyle, they were in the closets for hundreds of years. Politically, they maneuvered themselves in positions of power. Whereas it's you that's the societal outcast for being a homophobe. Something wrong with you and nothing wrong with them, right? It got flipped. Why? Because we're dealing with what? Politics. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
But back to this hypothetical situation, if you're in New Orleans with your girlfriend or your wife, the politics of a homosexual. Now, I remember when I was in college. I was at Southern University, and this had to be about what was I working at Red Lobster? I don't know, 93, 94, 95. I don't know what year it was. But I was working at Red Lobster in Baton Rouge on Airline in Florida. All right, so I'm waiting tables. I think it's me and Brother Zolly, Brother Ted. Matter of fact, a whole bunch of Muslim brothers. It's fish. We kind of, Muslims, we got to work. We want to work around as halal as possible, even though Red Lobster wasn't halal, but, it's mainly fish items. You understand?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so one day, I'm wearing my black pants, shirt and tie, and I go to a table, and there's this very, very beautiful black woman there. Beautiful. Pretty. And it was a guy. They're there. And obviously, for some reason, it appears that they're friends. They're not like a couple. Either that's her brother, her cousin, whatever. He's something other than her man. And it's kind of
women have a way of letting you know that, and the guy, he real cool. So I'm like, oh, I'm saying to myself, as the young man that I am, or was, I should say. I said, okay. So I started, flirting a little bit. And, of course, the sister kind of received my flirtation. And I'm like, So what happened? As it goes, I gave the woman, my phone number. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Now, what happened? This is before cell phones were vogue like they are now. I mean, if you had a cell phone back then, you had some serious cash. The cell phone bills were sky high. You had to have some serious bread in your pocket if you had a cell phone. So these are the days when we had, telephone lines. So one day I come home from school, from Southern University, and, the brotherhood in the living room is looking at me. And I'm like, what y'all looking at? And they kind of smirking. They like, hey, bruh, some dude calling for you, trying to, want to know where you at. I'm like, man, what you talking about? Some dude named so-and-so. I said, I don't know dude named so-and-so. Well, some dude named so-and-so want to talk to you. He called twice. And I said, wait a minute, you mean that dude that Red Lobster? I said, how did he get my number? And then, Azali, being funny, I don't know, bro, maybe you gave it to him. I'm like, no, brother, you tripping. So what happened? He calls. When he calls again, this is about me and about 4 or 5 other Muslim brothers in the living room. I pick up the phone, and it's him. And I was like, what up, bruh? He like, what up, man? He's a fag. He trying to hook up with me. So what did I do? Anyone want to take a guess? What my very next response was to this homosexual on the phone? Anyone dare to take a guess? No. Now, this was my response. Are you listening, Dain, Kamal, and Rafiq? You listening to me?
Yes, sir.
Listen carefully. I said, hey, yeah, baby, what's your address? It's so you where in Port Island? Yeah. I said, what house is that? What color your house? I said, you got a car? I got all the information on him that I needed. And when he finished giving me all this information, I said, nigga, if you call my house again, we coming over there, we're going to break your neck. Then I hung the phone up. He never called again. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
What is the point? Whether it's the white man or whether it's some other walking abomination, they use the woman. They go through the woman to get to you. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
No different than the snake in the Garden of Eden. The snake got to Eve, and then Eve got to Adam. But the point is, the snake worked his evilness or his purpose or his plan through her. He got her to bite that apple, and then got Adam to bite it, and then got them both kicked out the garden. And if you remember the story, I'm going to tell you something you probably never thought about. Isn't it mighty strange and odd that Adam and Eve got kicked out the garden and the snake was still there? Have you ever thought about that?
Yes, sir.
No, sir.
Isn't that something?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
God fussed Adam and Eve out and told them where to go, how to get there. But the snake, nothing. You tell me, what happened to the snake? So you never thought about that, huh?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Let me get back. So let's go back to New Orleans. So you're there with your girlfriend, your wife. You can be in Las Vegas. You can be in Miami, I don't know, anywhere. Anywhere where them faggots are, prevalent. So you go to dinner, and it kind of puts his hands on you. He's a little too personal, but it's political because you start questioning your own logic. Like, I know this dude a faggot. Is he making a movie? You start questioning your own common sense. Do you understand?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yes, sir.
How is this faggot able to get away with this kind of stuff? He gets away with it, or these homosexuals, they make political maneuvers. Because under your political respect of your wife or girlfriend and her family, they make a move on you, and because of political cover, meaning, your girlfriend or wife look up and that faggot family member is on the ground with a broke neck, and they're trying to figure out what the hell happened. The point I'm trying to make is this. In this hypothetical situation, you go to shake a homosexual hand, and they kind of pat you, grab your hand, kind of give you a backpack on your shoulder, and when your girlfriend and your wife looks away, their hand somehow slips and pats you on your behind. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Why in the world is Son of Man talking about this kind of stuff? What is this about? Homosexuals and this kind of thing. I'm teaching my sons. A wise man is able to gain wisdom from his own experiences, and more importantly, he is able to gain experience from other people's experiences. Do you understand? Gain wisdom from their experiences. You understand?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. The point I'm making ultimately, I'm going to get back to my point. You never question God. You never point your finger and accuse God of nothing that he allows to come upon you. You understand me?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
If Allah places you or God allows you to come into any situation, you never curse God. Because if you are in a particular situation and you are there to learn something, do you understand?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Politics. It's politics everywhere. Politics. So they not only do it on a national level, these faggots don't have respect for their own family members. The only thing they can think about is their own abominable and sinful and dirty, lustful desires. They don't even respect the institution of heterosexual marriage. They don't respect it. Do you understand?
Yes,
Yes, sir.
There is no biological evidence of a homosexual foray or affair between two women or two men, because no child is going to be produced from that sinful union or escapade. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So they don't care. But I'm here to tell you, when it comes to them kind of people offending you in any manner, the hell with politics. Do you understand me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
If you're ever in a position with one of these faggots playing these little political games with your family, through your wife, your girlfriend, whatever, and they want to play them games, you don't be political. You do exactly what you would have done if your girlfriend or wife wasn't there. You break their neck or knock them the hell out. You understand me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Politics. Dealing with these devils in Michigan. Had to get a devil straight in Michigan. Told this devil, and look, this is what I told him flat out. I said, look, man, I drive trucks. I see you got a family-owned corporation there. You know, your family running this truck coming at me kind of wrong. I said, I could give a damn about politics. I'm here to work. I'm here to drive a truck, not with these little office politics. You do what you say you do. You mean what you say. You be a man of your word, despite the consequences. Do you understand me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
At all times, you be a righteous Muslim, and Allah will make your enemies bow to your feet. Do you understand me?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yes, sir.
You don't you don't sacrifice and negotiate your manhood for nobody. You understand?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Politics. You know, it's easy to be a leader or a parent that simply yells and, shouts out orders and always making you feel like you don't know nothing or you're not good enough or you're always messing up. Some people really get off on that. You understand?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
sir.
These secret societies, these sororities, and these fraternities, they got one practice that I do like. I think it comes from God Himself. If they find out, or they get wind that you're a little too anxious to join that organization, there's a great risk that you will not be able to become a Omega Psi Phi or Delta or Alpha or Zeta, wherever them Greek letters are. If you just if you just kind of real eager for the position, you trying with all you know, you just want in. They won't take you a lot of times. You understand?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Same goes with God. You look at the messengers of God. Jesus wasn't thinking about going on Israel. He was just a simple black Egyptian child, minding his own business in Egypt, till an old man came and told him that, he'd been chosen by Allah to go to Israel and teach. And I need to teach you how to read people's minds. He was chosen. He wasn't seeking to become Allah's messenger. You understand?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Jonas ran. I think that was Jonas. He ran. Not only did he not seek the messengership, when it was given to him, he ran from God. He went the other way. You understand?
Yes, sir.
I'm trying to show you how to recognize not just Allah's choices. I'm just trying to teach you something about life itself. Allah's messengers were not that eager to be the messenger, even the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. Now, he's talking directly to God, and he's having second thoughts. And he says, he tells Master Farad Muhammad, he says, if you back me, can you imagine? I mean, most honorable Elijah Muhammad was a man's man. Here he's telling God, okay, I'll do this if you back me. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
The messenger told us flat out, he said, he didn't meet God in no dream. He didn't see God in no vision. He said, it took me meeting God in the flesh. He said, because, brother, this devil is real. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Oh, one moment. 1 second. Are you there?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yeah, I was, I had a conversation with myself yesterday, about money. And for some reason, this thing about money came up. I had to think about it for a second. And I had to ask myself, because Allah answers the prayers of the believers. You understand?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, he answers that prayer. And for the question, I was just, here thinking, I said, Kevin, have you really ever asked Allah to give you money? Like, money like that? And I had to think. And I said, I had to say, ultimately, I came to him. I said, well, if I did ask him, I said it wasn't, but it couldn't have been more than once or twice, because I really don't remember. I remember all my prayers to Allah. I remember asking for wisdom, guidance, protection, please put your arms around me. I remember my prayers. And I said, Kevin, have you ever asked Allah for money? Have you ever asked him for it? And I had, basically, I never really made no heartfelt prayer for prosperity. I never did it. I never made the prayer. And when I came to that conclusion, I had to think about it. I had to be honest with myself. When you spend the kind of time alone that I do, you kind of get you really get to meet the real you. I spend so many hours and days in solitude, it would drive most people crazy. I am always alone. Do you understand?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Even when I go to the movies, without even thinking, I'll get a handicap seat in the back, and even though people sitting around me, because I'm in a handicap seat that's next to a handicap space, I'm sitting in a part of the theater that nobody can sit next to me. It's just like second nature. So even when I'm out in the public, I'm alone. I'm always alone. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
All the time. Alone. And what do I do when I'm alone? Believe it or not, for hours and hours and hours, I am talking to Master Farad Muhammad. I'm thinking about the teaching. I'm talking to Master Farad Muhammad. That's what I do basically every single day. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. And so it came to this. I said, because, literally you've been spending too much time alone. When you start asking yourself a question and then you start answering your question, then you really got issues. Believe me, I got issues. And I said, well, Kevin, the reason, I don't know who's just talking, but I said, Kevin, the reason why you haven't asked for it, you haven't really prayed for it, is because you don't want it. And then I looked at I stepped back, I said, you know what, you're right. I said, well, and then I asked myself, why is that? And then my other self, or whatever self spirit said, well, what you want is to be with Allah. You want wisdom. The only thing you really want is to be in Allah's presence, like the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. That's what you actually want, isn't it? And I'm like, yeah. Then I had to think about it. I said, you're right. I said, if I had 10 Bentleys and 30 Rolls Royces outside and a mansion, and I had 10,000 wives, I had all the gold and I said none of it would mean anything to me. Now, what you must understand is that people might hear something like this, like, yeah, right, nigga, you want that stuff. Talk about you just want to be with God and you don't want all that stuff. Well, I'm telling you the truth. I literally don't want it. The only thing I'm thinking about is God. Probably led to my divorce from my first wife. She want to know, when you going back to practice law? You up here, she didn't say it like this. You up here making these YouTube. It's 2009, right? Ex-wife about to get out of nursing school. My disbarment is up. Instead of working and saving money to pay my bar fine and go back and practice law, 2009, time to go back to work, Kevin. I'm making YouTube videos about God, depressed, going to the casino, gambling all my money away because Master Farad Muhammad won't come talk to me. I'm on this God thing, and my ex-wife can't understand it because 3 years is up. She's like, well, how much does it cost? And let's move forward. Do you understand?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Yeah. Like I said, when you spend as much time alone as I have, you really get to the nuts and bolts. The gears turn your mind. But anyway, I want to not just my sons. I mean, Brother James are here, whoever, for posterity purposes, also, but for my sons in particular. I kind of want to do things for them and my daughter. I don't want to forget Amaria. I gotta be careful because Amaria tell my 3 sons in a minute she's daddy favorite. She don't think I know that. But anyway, that's personal. But anyway, I want to do for my sons that which wasn't done for me. Now the disciplinary part of some male figure in my life, yeah, I got that. But I never got talked to. I never got schooled. No one really ever sat down and told me about the birds and the bees, so to speak. You understand?
Yes, sir.
Turn to the Song of Solomon.
Yes, sir.
It's right after Psalms, Proverbs, and Ecclesiastes. Let me know when you find the book of Song of Solomon.
Yes, sir.
You have it?
Yes, sir.
You have it, Rafiq? Dane,
Yes,
you have it? What about you, Brother James?
I'm by book of Job and Psalms. Is it before Psalms?
Brother James, go to the book of Proverbs.
Yes, sir. I'm at the book of Proverbs, yeah.
Now go forward 2 books.
Yes, sir. Proverbs. Okay. Ecclesiastes, Song of Solomon there. Yes, sir.
All right. Before we read this book, a couple things. Not saying this about my particular children, but children sometimes get the idea in their mind, like I did, I admit it. Man, my mom, my dad, they don't know nothing, man. They don't understand. You understand?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
I'm in love with this girl. I'm in love with this boy. He don't understand what does he understand about love? He don't understand this. I got feelings. Well, the book tells you that God is love. And I'm about to show you that God knows a whole lot about love that you probably never thought about. Because I tell you, all the years I've been in church, and I was a church-going boy growing up every Sunday, I don't ever remember the church talking about the Song of Solomon or the book of Revelation when I was in church. I can't remember a sermon on the Song of Solomon or the book of Revelation. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
But before we get to this, another note. When let's look at Marcus Garvey, and we'll look at the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. Let me show you something. Because I told you weeks ago that when it comes to God and his people, it's like the relationship between a man and a woman. Do you understand? Remember I told you that?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Like a man and a woman. When you look at Marcus Mosiah Garvey, Marcus Garvey had an organization called the United Negro Improvement Association as far as numbers that rivaled, if not exceeded, the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. Garvey raised the nation here in America. Do you understand?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
He did it. The most honorable Elijah Muhammad, raised a nation in America. He got him a nation. He did it. Do you understand?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Yes, sir.
But listen to me carefully. I'm gonna post this one too. This might be This link might not be public. But let's look at the men, though. Let's look at the character of the men, their makeup, who they are. Who was Marcus Garvey? Who was Elijah Muhammad? Who was the man behind the title? His grit. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
What was his breath, his funky breath like? What about the grit of the man? Let's go to Marcus Garvey. Marcus Garvey and the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad have some in common that you probably never been taught about. Marcus Garvey and the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad got women that they wasn't supposed to be with. And what I mean by that is Marcus Garvey and the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad pulled women that the women's families, they were the women that they got, their family did not approve of them. But Marcus Garvey had enough game or enough sway or enough character or whatever that it factor was, he got the woman he wanted despite the obstacles, despite the fact that his wife's daddy and mama or whatever didn't want him with their daughter. The same goes for the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. You understand?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
I think that's coming from your line, Sister Rebecca. I hear noise. Your line keeps lighting up.
Yes, sir.
Either stop making noise or put your phone on mute. All right. Now, so Marcus Garvey, the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, had the innate character, ability, sway, swagger, game, whatever tools to get women that they wasn't supposed to be with, that their family didn't want them with. They got them anyway. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
In other words, the messengers of God and men of God like Marcus Garvey and the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad knew how to get they in the most sublime, pious, and righteous terms. They knew how to get a woman. Even a woman they wasn't supposed to be with. They had enough game to pull her. You understand?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
And when we extrapolate the true core of the man, who he is at the core level, we can see why these two men were able to get those nations. Because on a microcosmic level, they can get a woman for themselves, a good woman, a woman of some respect and stature, a woman of respectability, at least in their parents' eyes. He pulled that woman. He didn't get some old bum off the street, some old hussy, some old bimbo. They got women of respect on their arm. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
And when we look at the true man, the grit of him, when we look at him, we are not surprised that he was able to raise a nation because it was in him. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. There is a lot of wisdom in women. If you want to become wise, you would be wise to study women. I didn't say worship them. I said study them. Like you would a wild animal you never seen before. Do you understand?
Yes,
sir.
And if you are truly wise, you will study women until about the age of 35 or 40 before you get married. If you were really wise, you wouldn't marry them until you're about 35 years old. If you're smart, if you want to make a wise move, that's not the law. But I'm telling you, man, shoot, man, you knew what I knew. You know, falling in love at 18, 19 years old, and, you know, yeah, some people get lucky like that. That's the exception, not the rule. A woman is something to be studied. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Because by nature, By nature, a woman will find your weaknesses and exploit them and manipulate and rule you. And she can do it with really not even thinking about it. Some men call women bees and the devil and all these things. That's because they don't know themselves, they don't know the woman, and they get their heart broke or they get all twisted up by women. Because by nature, she will find your weaknesses and play on it unconsciously. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
There is a saying in the Nation of Islam that if we had studied the woman more closely, we would not have made the devil. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
The reason for this what you call hadith of the Nation of Islam is because the woman is, it's just like this. There's a movie, and it's a joke, but it's really the truth. It's just as true as the sun rising in the morning. There's a movie, you may have heard of it, called Two Can Play This Game. Who's seen that movie or heard of it? With Vivica Fox and, I don't know the other song's name. But it's a movie called Two Can Play This Game. Anybody heard of it or seen it?
No.
Okay. No problem. When you get a chance, check it out. It's called Two Can Play This Game. The point is this. In the movie, real quick, two brothers is talking about this woman and the things she's doing to him, emotionally, mentally, intellectually. And his friend tries to tell him, he said, he kind of puts it in a nutshell. Because the guy that's going through problems with his girlfriend, when he's talking to his boy, he looks at his boy and says, man, you act like this girl worked for the CIA or something. And then his friend tells him, he said, no, man, you don't understand. He said the CIA ain't got nothing on a woman with a plan. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
The reason why he said that is because women do it naturally. They don't even have to even think about it. You starting a relationship and falling in love with a woman without understanding women and getting into a relationship with them, she is the cat and you are the mouse. And the cat, when it's with a mouse, often will play with its food. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Just take his paw and put it on the tail and look at the mouse run in different directions, right? Because the mouse scared. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
That the mouse is emotional. That's what women will do to you. You don't know yourself. She'll put her paw on your tail and have you bugging out emotionally, and she'll just look at you. She do it without even thinking about it. It's like breathing to her. Like I told you before, if you ain't running her, she running you. I'm here to tell you. I know you're young. They're not even 20 years yet. And it just sounds like, more old dad talking. There you go again. The there you go again thing that daddies do. But I'm telling you the truth. And the reason why this theme of women keeps coming up in my meeting, because you must understand women for many reasons. Because if you can't rule your own woman, you will never be free. If you don't see the importance and what's the word? If you don't see the dire importance of understanding your woman and the dire importance of gaining control of her and not let any man be around your woman, if you don't understand this, you will never be free. Never. Because in the game of chess, notice, of all the 32 pieces on the chessboard, they say the queen is the most powerful. How can this be when there's a king on the board? They don't say the king is the most powerful piece on the board. They say the queen. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
If you are playing chess and you got that queen set up, you can execute all the other men's pieces. You get that queen off the board, there goes the bishop, there goes the pawns, there goes the knight, there goes the rook, and there goes the king. You lose that queen, you can just by kissing goodbye. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
That is the key. The woman, the queen. You got to get her. She is the most important thing to defeat a nation, is that woman, not the man. You got to get her. Because the man comes out of her. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
If you can't kill your enemy, what? Destroy his home. Destroy his source of food. Destroy his place of rest, his place of warmth in the winter. If you destroy his home, you won't never have to find him. He'll die because his home is gone. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Well, if you can destroy the woman, or you can get the woman to work for you and do your bidding, then you automatically got him, because the woman is the man's first teacher. Once you got the woman, you wait for the man to die, and that woman will teach his son or the future man how to serve you. Once you get the woman, you got the nation. Just like the game of chess. You got that queen, the game is won. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
When you first learn that game, you learn quick. If you ever get tutored, don't push that queen out there too early. Wait. You are taught more about how to be careful with that woman on that board than any other piece, including the king. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
You will never be free. Never. If you don't understand women. If you're not in control of your woman, where she goes, where she comes, and who around her, who talking to her, you can hang it up. You understand?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yeah. This is even from a personal level. You know, when my mom and my dad got together, they were teenagers. So what happened? My dad got my mom pregnant. Here I am. He ain't got no skills, no job to talk about. So what my dad do? He goes in the Army. He's in he drops out of high school. He goes to the Army and does what? Sends my mother money from the military. He's gone off to Germany somewhere. You understand?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
While my father is gone, what happens? My aunties, people come up to my mother. You need to get with Fernando. He got a job at the factory. Kevin can't take care of you. He in the military. He ain't even here. You don't know what he doing. You know, they got to my mom. Right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
The hell with me. The hell with me. Dad comes on from the Army. Joanne married. He don't even know. She didn't write him a letter. She didn't send him a Western Union. She didn't send him about Morse code. He come home, literally come home, sending her money, and everything. She ain't got a boyfriend. She married. My dad never recovered. First love, I can't curse in here, but first love is something else. Your first love break your heart, man. You got to sink or swim. My dad never made it back, as far as women go. Never got married again. Never had another child in his life. He couldn't shake back. You understand?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Want to destroy you? Get to that woman, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Gotta be careful. You got if you trying to rise a nation or your personal life, you got to be in control of who talking to your woman. Another point. Not my dad, me. Leave Mississippi, disbarred. Chips is down. Living in my ex-wife's mother's house. Chips way down. Trying to figure it out. What happens? My ex-wife people from New Orleans. Niggas I don't even know coming up to Sonda. You don't need to be with him. Putting all this mess in my wife's ear. What he doing? Living in your mama. I mean, just running me down, right?
Yes, sir.
Forget my children. Forget the fact we got 4 children. The hell with my children. My children will pay the price. Girl, you got a nursing degree. You don't need him. You can take care of him. You don't need that nigga. Yeah. Right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Now what happened? The children pay the price. Grew up without their daddy in that house. You got to be in control of who talking to your woman. You gonna get your heart broke. This the white man knows. Okay, Jim, we ain't gonna give these niggas no jobs. We're gonna give her welfare, but you tell her that he can't stay there and she ain't gonna get this money. Guess what? You got to go, because if you don't leave, the white man not gonna give me my welfare check. He destroys us through our woman. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
You have got to understand and study women. There is no way in the world, I don't care how cute a lion or a tiger or a jaguar is, would you bring a lion or a tiger and a jaguar in your home and you don't know nothing about that wild animal?
No, sir.
Would you do that?
No, sir.
So why in the world would you trouble yourself of falling in love and getting with a woman and you don't understand her? Nobody said you can't have a pet lion, a pet tiger, and a pet jaguar. What we are saying is, if you're going to have one of those creatures, which a woman is, a creature like you and me, a creation of God, a creature, you best to understand it. Else you're going to end up dinner. You understand?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
And that's what we have across America. Black men on the dinner plate of black women. All across America, all throughout the military, all throughout the private sector. Black women with making money in power position over black men. Got black men for economic and social lunch. If you 18 or you 17 or whatever, and that girl is 17, you have made a mistake. You are 17. She is 24 years old. Women are out-mature you by 5, 6, some people say 7 years. I'm just putting 7 out. That's just a lucky number. But they out-mature you 5, 6, 7 or more years. She's ahead of you. So if you're dealing with a woman at 16, you think she is not 16. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
She's going to school. She's playing a politics with your math teacher who's a man that's hitting on her or saying flirtation. She's dealing with more men and more situations than you are. You're in high school going through puberty. She's going through that and dealing with men at the school, men at the hospital, men at the library, men at Walmart, men at the Department of Motor Vehicles, men walking down the street, men at the gas station. Her whole life, she's 5, 6, 10 years ahead of you. You ain't been dealing with that many women. Like she's been dealing with men, trying to have sex with her, trying to rape her, trying to molest her. She's a black belt, and you're barely a white belt when it comes to dealing with the opposite sex. She understands more about you and your kind than you understand about her and her kind. Because by the numbers, she has been dealing with situations more than you. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
She will have you for lunch. This information, this wisdom, whatever you want to call it, was not given to me at the tender age of 15 and 18. I knew nothing. But this is the purpose of fathers and wisdom and teaching, is to take this knowledge, information, and wisdom and put it into a younger mind so that man or woman growing up can benefit and exceed their parents. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
One moment. Are you there?
Yes,
Yes.
sir.
Yes, sir.
Now, if history is any record or from a personal nature, before I get to the Song of Solomon, you're not going to catch most women till you're in your 40s. By the time you're 40, 45, you're around that age, and you've been doing work, not just playing basketball and looking at the football game on Sunday. I'm talking about really working on yourself. That's probably when you're going to catch most women. You'll be able to deal a little better. But before that, at the maturity rate of men and boys and men, you're getting outclassed. I'm just telling you. I'm not telling you what I think. I'm not telling you theory. This is not opinion. This is fact. F-A-C-T, fact. I'm kicking facts. I'm kicking knowledge. I ain't kicking no opinion here. You're getting taught, and you better listen to me. Do you understand?
Yes.
But I know. Young men are immortal, and they know more than their dads. What does my dad know about love? What does he know? All he ever do is tell me what to do and what not to do and just yell. That's all they do. What do he understand? What do you know about the tender side of life? The Song of Solomon, chapter 1. The Song of Songs, which is Solomon's. Let him kiss me with the kisses of his mouth, for thy love is better than wine. Oh boy, I bet you didn't know this was in the Bible. Huh?
No,
No,
sir.
sir.
Well, wait a minute, Dad. What is this? Where's thou shalt not kill, or obey me, or I'll throw you in the lake of fire? What is this? This is in the Bible? Kiss me? What kind of God talk like this? God talk like the prophets talk like this? Let him kiss me with the kisses of his mouth. There ain't nothing spiritual here. There ain't nothing to interpret here. Huh? I'm going to say this and I'm going to go. There is no interpretation when you listen to the Hot Boys of Louisiana when they rapping about back that thing up. There's nothing to interpret. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
You'll find your woman wants you back that thing up. You know what it's saying, and don't get stupid. Yes, son of man, could you give me the spiritual lesson here about kissing in the mouth? Son, there's nothing spiritual. It is what it is. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. What daddy know about love? That's all you ever do is holler and yell. It's birds and the bees time. Let him kiss me with the kisses of his mouth. Yeah, kiss me with your mouth. For thy love is better than wine. Why does it say that? When you drink wine, wine is an alcoholic beverage. And when you drink wine, you get warm inside. Your head gets light and you feel good. This is what happens to you, son, when you kiss a girl that you love. When you kiss her, you get warm inside. Your head gets light and you feel good. Love is better than wine. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Because the Savior of thy good ointments, thy name is ointment poured forth. Therefore do the virgins love thee. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Good ointment, good ointment, that's either, a medication for a sore, or good ointment can be like, perfume or cologne. In other words, sweetness. When you're dealing with a young lady or man, but in particular, when you're dealing with a young lady that's a virgin that has not known men, then sweetness and bashfulness and shyness, they love that. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
All those, the kind of men that the society or people in society call a total square, that, open doors and bring flowers and write poetry. An innocent girl that has not known men, a man like that, that have the sweetness of innocence. Good ointment. Virgins love that. Do you understand?
Yes,
Yes.
sir.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm not going. This is Sunday school. This is the Son of Man talking. This is the war cry. I'm gonna tell you what it is. By all means, let me stop and say this before I continue. Respect a woman's virtue. If you meet a girl that is a virgin, son, do not seek to take her virginity. That virtue belongs to her husband. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
That does not belong to you. You sleep with a girl and you take her virginity, you have committed a great theft from another man who deserves it, that's going to marry her and take care of her. Do not be like the Christian men of this civilization or this world. Don't be like that. Don't seek to take a woman's virtue. There's nothing wrong with having a relationship with a girl and sex not being involved. Respect her and respect her virtue, her virginity, and leave that be to her husband to be. Don't do that. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Verse 4 says, draw me, we will run after thee. The king hath brought me into his chambers. We will be glad and rejoice in thee. We will remember thy love more than wine. The upright love thee. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yeah. Not only will the woman that you show respect for love you when you are with her, and when you part from her and she's with her husband, she will always remember you and love and respect your memory. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
And so will the righteous. The upright will also love you. The righteous people will respect you too. Verse 5 says, I am black and comely, O you daughters of Jerusalem, as the tents of Kedar, as the curtains of Solomon. Just in case they want to put another white man on TV in front of you, portraying him as a white man, Solomon here tells you that I am a black man. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'm black, but it's like this. It's like this song by Houdini. It's called Funky Beat. He said, we from the streets of Brooklyn. There's 3 of us and we all good looking. Yeah, he said, I'm black but comely. Yeah, I'm black, but your boy got a little flavor. I'm not ugly. Do you understand?
Yes.
Do you all understand?
Yes, sir.
All right. Look not upon me because I am black, because the sun hath looked upon me. My mother's children were angry with me. They made me the keeper of the vineyards, but my own vineyards have I not kept. Yeah. Who are these mother's children that's angry with the black man? The white man, the Chinese man, the Japanese, all these other people that came out the womb of the black woman, all these other races come in our community, open stores and businesses, and we work for them and keep their vineyards while we live in the ghettos. We don't own businesses for ourselves. We don't have a black China. We don't have a black town. There's a Chinatown. There's a Polish town. There's every other kind of community but a real black community. We don't have a vineyard, but we keep their vineyards. The Lebanese, the Arabs, the Mexicans, the Chinese, you name it. Everybody can have a vineyard and have a community but us. They have vineyards and we have ghettos. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
One moment. Verse 7 says, Tell me, O thou whom my soul loveth, where thou feedest, where thou makest thy flock to rest at noon. For why should I be as one that turns aside by the flocks of thy companions? If thou know not, O fairest among women, go thy way forth by the footsteps of the flock, and feed thy kids beside the shepherd's tent. I have compared thee, O my love, to a company of horses and Pharaoh's chariots. Before I continue, I forgot to frame this. Although the identity of the woman that Solomon is romancing here, the book of the Song of Solomon is a love poem or story between Solomon and allegedly the Queen of Sheba. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Solomon is a prophet, a man of God that had 700 wives and 300 concubines. But the one he wrote poetry to and loved and romance, the one that caught his eye out of all those women that he had, was the Queen of Sheba, allegedly. It's contested, but it's a significant amount of theologians say that this woman here in the Song of Solomon is the Queen of Sheba. Understood?
Yes, sir.
Now, verse 10 says, Thy cheeks are comely as rolls of jewels, thy neck with chains of gold. We will make thee borders of gold with studs of silver. While the king sitteth at his table, my spikenard sendeth forth the smell thereof. A bundle of myrrh is my well-beloved unto me. He shall lie all night betwixt my breast. Do you understand?
Yes,
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Now, before I ever read this book to you, if you recall, I told you, I didn't even read this. I told you that the place that you as a man will find heaven will be, in my experience thus far, the most peace that you're ever going to find, in my experience thus far, is in the breast of your mother and in the breast of your wife, or the one that you are in love with. When you are with a woman that you are in love with, or your mother, and you lay on her breast or her lap, and you lay there, you will find the most rest and peace. I don't care what you think is. I don't care about cars, planes, vacation, money. The greatest peace in heaven you're going to enter into is in the breast of the one you love. Now, you stick that in your pipe and smoke and come back in 20 years and tell me if I'm lying. Do you understand me?
Yes, sir.
Now, I told you that before I read the Song of Solomon. I am the book. Solomon is telling you. A bundle of myrrh is my well-beloved unto me. He shall lie all night betwixt my breasts. Huh? Mm-hmm.
Yes,
Didn't know this was in here, did you?
No, sir.
My beloved is unto me as a cluster of camphor in the vineyards of En-gedi. Behold, thou art fair, my love. Behold, thou art fair. Thou hast dove's eyes. Oh, he's rapping. The eyes of a dove. What that mean? Beautiful, harmless, inviting, soft, innocent. Your eyes call into my heart for me to take care. When you see a dove, you just want to hold. You just want to hold. You don't want the dove to fly away. You just want to hold the dove gently in your hands and rub the dove's head and look in the dove's eyes. Softness, beauty. Thou hast dove's eyes. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Yes. So while my sons is, doing what they do and having a little whatever, if you want to send her a love note, read the Song of Solomon, and I guarantee you ain't nobody going to rap to a girl like God can rap to him. Verse 16 says, Behold, thou art fair, my beloved, yeah, pleasant. Also, our bed is green. What does that mean? Huh? Yeah. Our bed is green. When something is green, that's like the spring, something anew, fresh, undefiled. Our bed is green. Something pure. The bed ain't red, like you in the red light district of Las Vegas or New Orleans with a prostitute. That's a bed. That's a red bed. This bed is green. This bed is righteous. We lie in the bed together because God has ordained it. This is a green bed. No other man has laid with me, my love. This bed is green, and this bed is yours. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
The beams of our house are cedar, and our rafters of fir. Chapter 2. I am the rose of Sharon and the lily of the valley. Solomon's kind of popping his collar here. He's really rapping to the Queen of Sheba. He says, I am the rose of Sharon. If you look at the rose of Sharon or the rose of Sharon, that is a gorgeous flower, a precious flower. Do you understand?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
A lily of the valleys. Is there a more fair flower on the side of the mountains and between two mountains in the valley than a lily? As Jesus says, in all Solomon's great robes, he was not adorned as one of the lilies of the valley which my Father has planted. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
As the lily among the thorns, so is my love among the daughters. Oh my goodness, he really wants the Queen of Sheba. He compares the beauty and the grace of the Queen of Sheba as a lily among the thorns. Sweetheart, baby, all the women compared to you are nothing but heartbreakers, thorns. And you are a soft, gentle lily. You're beautiful. Nothing compares to you. This way before Prince started. This was already written in the Song of Solomon. Prince plagiarized this one. This came from Solomon. You're the most beautiful girl in the world. Compared to you, all other women are thorns. You are a flower. You are a lily, baby. Every other woman is a thorn compared to you. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
As the apple tree among the trees of wood, so is my beloved among the sons. Queen of Sheba rapping back. I sat down under his shadow with great delight. His fruit was sweet to my taste. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yeah. Like Prince says in that song from the movie Batman. He said, you know, sweet conversation is better than being lonely, so I do my best to ad lib. Yeah. She said his fruit is sweet to her taste. What does this mean? What does the Queen of Sheba mean that Solomon's fruit is sweet to her taste? What does this mean? It's not talking about the sweet of taste to her palate, her tongue. The sweetness of taste to the Queen of Sheba was his words of wisdom that went between her ears. Sweet as fruit. His words. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
And when you're dealing with a woman, that's her number one request. It's not, baby, make love to me. It's, baby, would you please talk to me? Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
The art of lovemaking with a girl or a woman takes place first between a woman's ears. Her breasts follow. That's the great secret. It's not patting her on the behind or looking at her butt or looking at her body. Those kind of compliments, yeah, they like that. But can you give me sweet fruit in my ears? Can you speak words to me that I haven't heard before? Can you give me a fruit that I have not tasted before? Don't come to me with that same old line. What's your name? What's your sign? Do you got some sweet fruit to me? 'Cause I haven't heard it all before. Like TLC said, can you kick your game? In other words, be yourself. Be honest. And talk to me. How do you really feel? Have a real conversation with me. I want to taste your fruit. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. You know what? Let me stop. This is Friday night. Let me. I may pick this back. I may pick up the chapter 2 through 8 Sunday and thereafter. But I don't want to be here all night. But the point I want to make to you is this. Yeah, Dad, I know about affairs of the heart. I know about love. It's not all about thou shalt and thou shalt not. I understand. And I'm showing you that I understand. And I'm doing it from the Word of God. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Yeah. In all thy ways, children, be pure and be righteous. There's nothing wrong with that. It don't matter how much the world frowns on you. You be righteous and you do the right thing. You be a good Muslim and Allah will smile upon you. And when Allah smiles upon you, it don't matter what nobody thinks because Allah is the owner of all. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
In case I forget, any of you can remind me, because knowing me, I may go to some other teaching Sunday. If you want me to continue this and complete it and teach you the entire book of the Song of Solomon, just remind me Sunday, and we'll pick up right here. All right,
sir. Yes, sir. Do we have any questions or comments before we close our Bible study?
Yes, sir. I've got just a couple of comments to point out. Just a couple of things regarding the code of 19 in the Quran. I just wanted to throw this out there because Son of Man was speaking on this. it's really interesting if you just go to Google and type in the number 19 in the Quran and just look through all of that information that comes up. It's actually a website by a Muslim group called the number19.com, and they're like a Quranic group. They got a mosque in Arizona, and they talk a lot about that number 19. And then also in the Song of Solomon, a couple of these verses I do recall reading over before, but it was very eye-opening to hear that kind of deep romantic poetry that, as I'm sure as the Son of Man pointed out, most people are not aware is actually in the Bible. I mean, some of that's a little bit, kind of adult sounding, especially for Holy Scripture, especially for the Bible. And a lot of Christians may not be up on that. One thing interesting I wanted to point out, though, in the verse where it says, I was aware of this one verse previously where it says, right here in verse 5, I am black, but comely, O ye daughters of Jerusalem, as the tents of Kedar, as the curtains of Solomon. If I'm correct, Kedar, but I think it was spelled with a Q in some translations, Kedar is a son of Ismael and Hajar, a grandson of Abraham. But you don't hear too much about Ismael's bloodline, because you mostly hear about the bloodline from Isaac, which we know about Jacob, Yaqub, and the children of Israel. But the Bible doesn't too much go into Ismael's bloodline. But I do believe that Kedar is a son of Ismael and Hajar from Mecca, if I'm correct. So I wanted to point that out too. And everything we learned tonight is very profound. As far as like understanding the woman is the key to understanding everything. The woman is the military backbone of the entire organization. We talk about playing chess, and it's fascinating. And so I will definitely try to remind the Son of Man to go over this topic for Sunday school coming up, inshallah. And that is all good thing.
Yes, sir. Do we have any other questions or comments before we close our Bible study?
No, sir.
If not, we will close our Bible study with the Muhammad children giving their Farad prayers, starting with Daim.
Surely I have turned myself, being upright to him who originated the heavens and the earth, and I am not of the polytheists. Surely my prayer, my sacrifice, my life, and my death are all for Allah, Lord of the worlds. No associate hath he, and this am I commanded, and I am of those who submit. O Allah, thou art the King, there is no God but thee. Thou art my Lord, and I am thy servant. I have been adjusting myself, and I confess my faults. So grant me protection against all my faults, but none grants protection against faults but thee. And guide me to the best of morals, but none guides to the best of them but thee. And turns away from me the evil morals but thee. Amen.
Truly I have turned myself, being upright to him, who originated the heavens and the earth, and I am not the polytheist. Surely my prayer, my sacrifice, my life, and my death are all for Allah, Lord of the world. No associate hath he, and this is my command, and I am of those who submit. O Allah, thou art the King, there is no God but thee. Thou art my Lord, and I am thy servant. I have been unjust to myself, and I confess my faults. You grant me protection against all my faults. For none grants protection against faults but thee, and guides me to the best of morals. For none guides to the best of them but thee, and turns away from me the evil morals of thee. Amen.
Surely I have turned myself, being upright to him, who originated the heavens and the earth, and I am not of the polytheists. Surely my prayers, my sacrifices, my life, and my death are all for Allah, Lord of the world. No associate has he, and this is my commandment, and I am of those who submit. O Allah, thou art the King, there is no God but thee. Thou art my Lord, and I am thy servant. I have been unjust to myself, and I confess my faults. So grant me protection against all my faults. For none grants protection against false things, guides me to the best of morals. For none guides to the best of the fear, turns me away from the evil morals of thee. Amen.
In the name of Allah, who appeared and is in the person of Master Farad Muhammad. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
Wa alaikum salam.